I want to tell you briefly about the GÉANT services and how Latvia and the VPC can benefit from that. So GÉANT is an association of all the European national research and education networks. Almost every country in Europe has a national research and education networks. And I hope that the opening of the VPC is the first step to Latvia also implementing a national research and education network. This is the network that GÉANT delivers. We connect all the national research and education networks with fiber, always 2 fibers, so to make sure that there's resilience and that if one fiber is cut, there's still a connection to the rest of Europe. And if you zoom in, you can see that Riga is connected to Estonia and to Kaunas in order to make sure that they are well connected to the rest of Europe. But the network is not the only thing we deliver, and it's certainly not the most important thing. But let me first explain why we deliver. Why do you need a research network? Why can't a commercial network not handle the traffic? Well, here you see 2 pictures. The upper one is the traffic on our commercial peering. It shows a really typical commercial traffic pattern, where you can see the peaks during the day and the valleys during the night, and the 2 lower peaks in the weekend and the 5 higher peaks during the work week. And if you look at the scale on the left, it's up from 0 to 30 gigabits per second. The bottom one shows you what we get in our LHC1 research network. That's an overlay on GÉANT. And that is generated by CERN in Geneva when they run their experiments there. And you can see there's no discernible pattern. It goes on day and night. And the peak on the left is 800 gigabits per second. So it's a totally different scale of data and a totally different pattern of data that you get. And commercial networks are not good at dealing with this. That's why we have research networks and we have GÉANT connecting them. And on top of the network, we deliver a lot of services. We deliver network services, network support services for monitoring and network management as a service, etc. But of course, very important are the security services and the trust and identity services and cloud and real-time services. And these are the kind of services that I expect to see in the shared service center in Latvia. And I like to focus on one aspect because I don't have time to go into all these services, of course. But if we look at the trust and identity, which is kind of an infrastructure on top of our network. For example, if you want to connect high-performance computing, if you want to assure student mobility in Erasmus Plus or Erasmus without paper, or you want to join the European Open Science Cloud, as has been explained by the previous speaker, then you need a global research identity to make sure that you're authorized to access these. And to do that, we have implemented a worldwide federation of identities to assure very safe and secure authorization, authentication, and identities. And this is based on a core AAI, authentication, authorization, identity platform that is run by GÉANT and which is known under the name of GÉANT and which is now implemented worldwide and gives students and researchers access to all kinds of services in the high-performance computing, in the student mobility, and on the European Open Science Cloud. All the services below the orange line are delivered by GÉANT and the National Research and Education Networks. What I find for Latvia is that 32 Latvian universities and institutes are now supported by GÉANT as an identity provider of last resort for Erasmus. So 32 Latvian institutes want to participate in Erasmus and want to be part of the Global Federation of Identities, which is the basis for a shared service. It is strange that for a country like Latvia, 32 entities have to resort to the last resort rather than having a national federation of identities. If you create a shared service center like you're doing, which I really hope will lead to a national research and education network, then at least you should consider creating a Latvian identity federation as part of the global federation, instead of having the institutes having to resort to GÉANT in this case. Which we are happy to do, of course, but I think this is the first challenge that I see for the VPC to help build a national federation for identity and secure access. Once that is done, based on the services, whatever service the VPC will deliver, the students and the researchers should be able to use the network, should be able to use the trust and identity infrastructure that is there to make sure they can have a secure connection to the services of the VPC. And I think this is one of the challenges that is in front of you, and we are at GÉANT are quite willing to help you out and make sure that this is going to be a success. And I wish you all the best with the VPC. Thank you.